if there is anything that needs to be satirized and remixed, it is Trump talking about massive dumps. And by the way, extra points, if you can sample Trump saying massive dumps and me talking about it in a song, please do it.
Dumps. Big massive dumps. Dumps. Big massive dumps. Dumps.
Dumps. Dumps. Dumps. Dumps. Dumps. Dumps.
Dumps. Dumps.
Dumps. Dumps. Dumps. Dumps. Dumps. Dumps.
Dump. Big massive dumps. Dumps.
Dumps. Dumps.
Sir, you just
Dumps.
won.
Dumps. Dumps. Dumps.
Dump. Big massive dumps.
Donald Trump insisted multiple times that it was massive dumps that led him to lose the election, which is just
on another level, on another level.
Dumps.
Dumps. Dumps.
Sir, you just
Dumps.
won.
Dumps. Dumps. Dumps.
Dump. Big massive dumps. Dumps.
Dumps. Dumps.
Sir, you just
Dumps.
won.
Dumps.
Sir, you just
Dumps.
won.
Dumps.
Dump.
Dumps.
Big massive dump.
Water rushes out to sea because you could have people are flushing toilets 10 times, 15 times, as opposed to once. Quietly dripping.
Dumps.
Dumps. Dumps.
Sir, you just
Dumps.
won.
Dumps. Dumps. Dumps.
Dump. Big massive dumps. Dumps.
Dumps. Dumps. Dumps. Dumps. Dumps. Dumps.
Dumps.
what is going on here? What is going on here? It's just beyond parody. I mean, massive dumps cost him the election. All right, welcome everybody. We are. This is a very, very special stream. I don't know why, but it just is. We have so much to talk about in advance of the Joe Biden town hall that is happening tonight. I was initially planning to stream later and to cover the town hall itself. I have been warded off of doing that. It's a bad idea. Facebook is a non-starter. Anything on CNN, Facebook, you will just be beaten down to a bloody pulp. Twitch was a probably not. And then I was told YouTube also bad idea. You will get shut down very hard. The idea, of course, of the presidential speech being protected by copyright is kind of a question mark. But in any case, we're doing an early stream, an historic early stream. I have 2, 4, 6. I have about 12 things to go over with you. I may take phone calls. We have unban requests. Inconsolable has gifted 20 subs on Twitch already. I mean, it's a crazy, crazy day. So I'm really glad to be back. And there is a lot to discuss. Where to start, though? I was hoping to make it while Newsmax was still talking about how the media and Biden have a codependent relationship, which is hilarious because Newsmax and OAN only exist to the degree that they are now slightly more prominent because they rode Trump's coattails. If I've ever seen a codependent relationship, it is Newsmax and OAN with Donald Trump. So we will get back to Newsmax, but I have a bunch of other things to look at. Where do I even start? I want to make sure I provide time for people to get into the stream, and there's just a lot of different things going on. Let's look at a couple of super chats. Chakaseki says, Trump may think Nancy Pelosi is as crazy as a bedbug, but this 9/11 style investigation might peel the years of Tanner off of his skin. Maybe so. And Storm Chaser says, thoughts on the Texas power situation? I thought liberal states like California were taking away our heating and powerful flushing. 4 million without power, heat, water. Sad. It is horrible what is going on in Texas. And maybe we will get right to that. Let me see, where do I have this? Hold on a second. I have a lot of elements related to that. Oh, here it is. Check this out. Ted Cruz, this guy is such a slime ball. Republican Texas Senator Ted Cruz tweeted, urgently, today Senator John Cornyn and I sent a letter to President Biden urging for Governor Greg Abbott's emergency federal disaster declaration request to be approved amid severe winter storms across the state of Texas. This is the same Ted Cruz who in 2012 voted against federal relief funds for Hurricane Sandy to go to New York and New Jersey. 2012 voted no on that. And then in 2015, he wanted federal money for Texas floods. And then in 2017, he wanted federal money for, what was it in 2017? Hurricane relief in Texas. And then now he wants money for the storm and power outage. Now, to be clear, of course they should get it. Of course Texans should get it. But this guy is just a disgusting hypocrite who seems to say, gimme the money when it relates to his own constituents. And here we actually have, this is an interview he did. I covered this so long ago. This is an interview he did with MSNBC. And Katie Tur tried pointing out the hypocrisy, and he came up with something about pork. Take a listen to this.
You're busy, and I want to let you get back to doing everything you can out there. But a lot of people are pointing out that you voted against aid for Sandy after that catastrophic storm up in the Northeast, that package back in 2012. And they're pointing at you and saying you're asking for money now when you weren't willing to help the people in the Northeast. What do you have to say to them?
Well, look, there's time for political sniping later.
Right. The time for political sniping is when other people's constituents need the money. The time for political sniping was when it was New York and New Jersey people that needed money. That was the time for political sniping, not now. Can't you guys tell? He's wearing a jacket that shows that he's helping.
I think our focus needs to be on this crisis and this disaster.
These are people who needed money and who needed funding right after that storm. I covered those people. Many of them, just like those in Houston, lost absolutely everything they owned.
Well, Katie, of course that's right. And the accurate thing to say is that I and a number of others enthusiastically and emphatically supported hurricane relief for Sandy. Hurricane relief and disaster relief has been
That's not true.
Vital federal role for a long time, and it should continue. The problem with that particular bill is it became a $50 billion bill that was filled with unrelated pork. 2/3 of that.
Yeah, most of the pork put in there by his Republican friends saying, if you don't put this stuff in here, we're not gonna vote for this.
That bill had nothing to do with Sandy, and what I said then and still believe.
The one thing, now, it's true that some of the money in that bill, I mean, we're going back 9 years now, but some of the money in the Sandy bill was not for response to Sandy, but for preparedness for the next hurricane. And Republicans like Ted Cruz at the time were saying this is a way of sneaking in money for leftist climate change ideas. Like to call a lot of it pork, it's called let's prepare for the next one. It's sort of like right now we should be spending money on getting the pandemic response team back in place. He's just disgusting.
Believe now is that it's not right for politicians to exploit a disaster and people are hurting to pay for their own political wish list.
There it is again. So I covered this 9 years ago. I actually remember it. Sorry, this is from 4 years ago. His vote against Sandy relief was 9 years ago.
Disaster relief needs to be focused on the victims of disaster relief, and
preventing future disasters.
I supported that for Sandy, disaster relief there, and I would support that anywhere there's a major disaster without getting distracted by political unnecessary pork spending.
Yeah, so that's his justification 4 years ago for his complete and blatant hypocrisy on funding for response to and preparedness for future natural disasters. He is a hypocrite. And he's a disgusting person. I completely and totally agree with you. Okay, very good. So we've gotten that out of the way. Let me say thank you to Jonathan Carney. Jonathan Carney is new member number 1 today. Now, I know we've not opened the phone lines recently. I am more than willing. In fact, I would love to open the phone lines today. We have a goal of 100 website members and Twitch subs. We also did get, thanks to Inconsolable gifting a bunch of subscriptions, we just got 23 Twitch subs dumped out of nowhere, which puts us at 24. All right. And the coupon code, it's working perfectly at joinpacman.com. Before I get to some clips from Fox News from yesterday, let me look at a few other super chats. James Montalbano says, I get all my morality from Donald Trump. So should Biden be helping Texas even though they didn't vote for him? That, by Trumpian ethics, that is a reasonable question. Absolutely. Still Alive says, think we'll get answers, student loan forgiveness. Think we'll get, well, do I think we'll get student loan forgiveness? I actually don't think so. I don't believe there will. Matthew Davis says, Fox News was just talking about how what's going on in Texas is a failure of green energy instead of, a climate change issue. Yeah, let me see if I can even, I saw that Aaron Rupar posted a few clips of that. Let me see if I can find them here. Let's see. Where was this Texas stuff? Why stimulus spending doesn't work. Fauci dating. Some Stuart Varney stuff. Yeah, here it is. Mother Nature freezes Biden's green climate agenda. I don't have a clip here. Maybe. Yeah, I'm not easily finding one. Let me see. A couple of our other clip sources on Twitch. No, not here either. Oh, no, Twitter rather. Yeah, no, I know exactly the segment you're talking about, but I am unable to easily find a segment on that. Okay, very good. So we're fine as far as that goes. I have one. People are asking about voicemails and unban requests. I have one of each. Do you guys want me to do the Twitch unban request or voicemail? What do people prefer? I'll do both. I'm just glad to, I'll do either first, whatever people prefer. The unban. Yeah, all right, let's do that first. Okay, so we've got a user. For people who ask, I don't put these up on screen because I don't want anything accidentally getting on screen that, could get me banned. Let's see here. Okay. President Snowflake about Joe Biden. That's okay. David always talking about his money and then banned for possible anti-Semitism. Okay, I understand that. Now, their unban request is, I'm very sorry. I was stressed by Trump and drinking at the time. I plan to be more respectful and productive in the chat. I'm going to go ahead and grant that. I'm going to grant that as an unban. That's okay. It's not clear that their comment about money was anti-Semitic or anti-semantic. And I'm going to go ahead and unban. That's reasonable. We'll keep an eye on them, but that's a fair. I'm glad I adjudicate that, and that's fine. And then one other unban request. We're effed 2020, watermark 2020, Trump 2020, all back to back to back. And then can I get an unban, please, Trump 2024? No, we're going permanent on that. That's a deny. That's just lame. I mean, listen, they'll go and make another account and be back, whatever. But that's a nay, and people seem to agree with that. Okay, good. So we're caught up. Big housekeeping stream. We're caught up as far as unban requests go. And now let's get caught up as far as voicemails go. I did get a Troy York voicemail. I don't know what it's about. It came in the wee hours this morning. Let's take a listen to it. See what it's about. Could be anything.
David Packman, this is Troy York. Watching Tucker Carlson, he pointed out the hypocrisy and the lies of the climate change radicals who...
Oh, I actually have this Tucker segment to review. I haven't seen it.
Use climate deniers of attempting to stall progress of green technology and the green movement. But in reality, as we see in Texas, windmills and solar energy are unreliable.
Energy.
And now the people, 2 million or 3 million people in Texas are freezing without electricity because of the lies and the propaganda of the green technology.
He does sound sober this time. I agree. People are observing that.
Demands of the Democrat Party, the radicals who are funded from overseas and who overseas companies actually benefit from transitioning America from fossil fuels, natural gas to unreliable windmills that can't even perform with a little ice, that kill massive amount of birds. Solar energy is not reliable.
How many people are killed from fossil fuel drilling? The bird thing has been widely debunked at this point. I mean, yes, some birds are killed by wind farms, but consider the death as a result of fossil fuels, not only, cancer in people. I mean, come on. Okay, let's listen to a little more.
And this whole bogus lie of the Democrat Party is a redistribution of wealth, as I've been saying for a long time. And you should watch Tucker Carlson's 10-minute program as he eviscerates.
All right, well, let's check it out. Okay, I had that pulled up. Let's actually do that right now just to get it out of the way. We'll watch it right now. Just so happens I have it handy. I'll read a couple of other super chats before we move on. Did I see this interview? This is the interview of a Trump attorney ripping their mic off. We'll look at that as well. So I'll get to that. Matthew says Forbes had a green energy snipe piece too. Not surprised. Owen is missing me in PogChamps 3. Will I stream chess again in the future? Yeah, I'd like to. I'm still playing. PogChamps 3 has been funny. Entertaining. Very, very entertaining. I was featured in a congratulations to Hikaru million Twitch followers video earlier today. David Perdue running against Raphael Warnock 2022. I heard he was thinking of running. I didn't know that he was. What's my opinion of the U.S. sanctioning German companies for Nord Stream 2 in the name of European energy security? I don't know enough about it yet to be able to say. All right, so there's super chats. We're caught up as far as that goes. Feel free to send them in. Let's listen now to Tucker Carlson. Here we go. Oh, hold on. Here we go.
Good evening and welcome to Tucker Carlson tonight. Happy Monday. Well, the Green New Deal has come, believe it or not, to the state of Texas. And we're here with the report. How's it working out so far? Well, the good news is all that alternative energy seems to have had a remarkable effect on the climate, as intended. Last night, parts of Texas got to temperatures that we see in Alaska. In fact, they were the same as they were in Alaska. So global warming is no longer a pressing concern in Houston. We've solved that problem. The bad news is they don't have electricity. The windmills froze, so the power grid failed. Millions of Texans woke up to boil their water because with no electricity, it couldn't be purified. The ironically named Electric Reliability Council of Texas, which oversees the grid, had no solution to any of this. They simply told people to stop using so much power to keep warm.
So this is already a lie, okay? It is true that there were some wind turbines that froze. That is absolutely true. But all of Texas's systems are unprepared for the temperatures that we're seeing. And the primary problem was actually frozen instruments at fossil fuel power plants, at coal plants, at natural gas plants, even at nuclear facilities. So this is just a lie. It's not, the picture that they're painting is of a Texas only relying on crappy little windmills, all frozen, unable to move because of ice. It is true that the entire system in Texas, at least south of certain parts of the state, was not prepared for these temperatures. That is true. But a bigger problem than frozen windmills, wind farms, as we should call them, are frozen instruments at natural gas, coal, and even nuclear plants. So I don't know if the next, Troy York wanted me to look at this. I don't know if the next 8.5 minutes are all based on this false premise, but so far, this is all a lie. Let's continue.
So in Houston, hundreds of shivering Texans headed to the Civic Center like refugees to keep from freezing to death. Some people in Texas almost certainly did freeze to death today. That's what happens when it gets that cold. Later this week, we'll learn just how many more as they tried to keep warm with jury-rigged heaters and barbecues.
I don't know why it's skipping like that. That's very weird.
Car exhaust. That happens every time. When the power goes out, even advanced societies become primitive and dangerous. People die. We've seen it happen repeatedly in California for years now. Rolling blackouts in a purportedly first world state that is slipping steadily into chaos. But in Texas? Who saw that coming? And not just because Texas is mostly Republican.
What's funny is that when they say who saw that coming, what they should really be saying is climate scientists have been saying for a long time that climate change is not just it's really warm. It's record highs and record lows, erratic weather, out of the bell curve. So it seems as though if in Texas they accepted the science, they would have said, hey, even though a lot of Texas doesn't usually get very cold, we might want to have a system that accounts for the fact that if climate scientists are correct, it might get colder than we expect, and you would it's not to blame. You just have to deal with it, obviously now, and people are suffering. But when he talks about who would have predicted it in Texas, if you would have listened, whoa, did you see that? My chair just went down like 5 inches. When, had they been paying attention to the signs, they would have actually been able to plan for this.
If there's one thing you would think Texas would be able to do, it's keep the lights on.
Right.
Most electricity comes from natural gas, and Texas produces more of that than any place on the continent. There are huge natural gas deposits all over Texas. Texas is an oil and gas state, famously. Running out of energy in Texas is like starving to death at the grocery store. You can only do it on purpose.
Well, they also didn't run out of energy. If this is like the big indictment of green energy, wow. I mean, this is so stupid.
And Texas did. Rather than celebrate and benefit from their state's vast natural resources, politicians took the fashionable route and became recklessly reliant on so-called alternative energy, meaning windmills. 15 years ago, there were virtually no wind farms in Texas. Last year, roughly a quarter of all electricity generated in the state came from wind.
That's fantastic. They have the geography for wind power. That's great.
Local politicians were pleased by this. They bragged about it like there was something virtuous.
If that number is even true, I don't know, actually.
About destroying the landscape and degrading the power grid. Just last week, Governor Greg Abbott proudly accepted something called the Wind Leadership Award, given with gratitude by a company getting rich from green energy.
All right.
So it was all working great until the day it got cold outside.
Now, why is it worse to get rich from green energy than from dirty energy? Like, I mean, that's just it's a serious question. If someone's going to make money from energy, why is it worse if it's from the kind that doesn't harm the planet? It's a serious question. I don't know the answer.
The windmills failed, like the silly fashion accessories they are, and people in Texas died. A lot more of them than died at the Capitol on January 6th, by the way, just for reference. Now, we're telling you all of this not to beat up on...
I mean, a lot of people die from gun violence that's preventable every year as well. Tucker doesn't seem to want to do anything about that.
The state of Texas, it's a great state, actually. But to give you some sense about what's about to happen to you, to every state, and we're not speculating on that, here's the new president explaining his plan.
In my view, we've already waited too long to deal with this climate crisis.
Yeah.
We can't wait any longer. That's why I'm signing today an executive order to supercharge our administration's ambitious plan to confront the existential threat of climate change. It is an existential threat.
Just reading the script. Climate crisis, existential threat, ambitious plan.
You know, I just finished up reading the book Merchants of Doubt by Naomi Oreskes, and I forget her co-author's name because I interviewed her. I think Eric Conway. It's not Dr. Eric Coomer. I think it's Eric Conway. And it actually points out in great detail how all of this denial and doubt that we now see goes back about 40 years to a group of basically it comes down to anti-regulation right-wingers who have the exact same blueprint for introducing doubt about is cigarette smoking harmful to your health, and when they couldn't deny that, is secondhand smoke harmful to your health, denying the ozone hole in the ozone layer stuff, denying acid rain, denying CO2. It's the exact same playbook, mostly motivated by either personal financial opportunities or by a broader DDT, the pesticide DDT, denying that it's harmful to human health. It's the exact same playbook. And it leads to this. And I don't even think I need to watch any more of this. So Troy York wanted me to watch this and said this was some big takedown. The first 35 seconds tell you everything you need to know, which is Tucker is blaming the power outages in Texas on windmills. The truth is that while there are some frozen windmills, there are far more impacts from frozen instruments at natural gas, nuclear, and coal plants. And that's really all you need to know. The entire premise of this segment is a lie. So we did that. We did the Ted Cruz thing. Okay, we're getting to a lot of these different things that we have. Big thank you to Remy Lebreau for the 8 months on Twitch. I want to say thanks also to the other 6 people, a total of 7, that grabbed Twitch subscriptions. We will open phone lines if we get to 100, and other new members to thank. Ooh, nobody. Yikes. That is sad. That is sad. It's almost embarrassing. I think that's a self-own. But feel free to grab a membership at joinpacman.com. Would very much appreciate it if you did. We've got a code BETTER21, and that'll save you bigly. And let's see if next time I check in on it, there's actually somebody to thank. I really, that is embarrassing. That is embarrassing. Okay, a few other super chats. If stupidity could be harnessed as a power source, Tucker could power the whole world by himself. Just blame Antifa and move on, Tucker. Your chair was obviously manipulated by Antifa. From the UK, I have friends from Texas who won't hear a bad word about Ted Cruz even when I state my case about his disgraceful actions. Why? I don't know, but it sounds embarrassing. Here's a danger of fossil fuels. There's an epidemic of carbon monoxide poisoning in Texas due to people running their cars and heaters inside. That is tragic, and I read about that. Ellis wants to know what I think of nuclear power. It has killed far fewer people than other power sources such as natural gas and hydroelectric. Hydroelectric, I don't know about, but yes, on the others. I am not reflexively anti-nuclear like many people on the left. We have interviewed actual nuclear power engineers on the program. I believe that new nuclear is so much safer than what was being constructed 40, 50 years ago. I think it is a concern that it takes a while to bring new nuclear capacity online, rather. And that would be a concern, because if it takes 10, 12 years to do that, well, 10, 12 years from now, we already should have made great strides to get off of fossil fuels. But I am not reflexively anti-new nuclear. The waste is an issue, as people are pointing out in Twitch chat, for sure. But there are increasingly more elegant ways, I guess I would call them, to deal with that. All right. So that's my thought as of right now. Let's continue. The fact that America has not even a public option is embarrassing. It makes me legitimately sad. Yes. Ironic, all the wind turbines are in deep red counties, freezing here in Texas without power. Can't even get McDonald's because of lines. Take the money I couldn't spend. I'm sorry to hear that, Sam. That's really horrible. Really, really horrible. Okay, let's see. Let's next go to this interview where Trump's lawyer rips off his mic. I haven't seen this, but I've heard about it. Let's take a look.
Has voted to acquit former President Trump of inciting an insurrection.
When do they get to the interview?
January 6th. The final Senate vote was...
Here it is.
Joining me now is former President Trump's attorney, Michael Vander Veen. Thank you, sir, for joining us. Let's get right into those words that we heard from Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell. He ended the trial with
this guy has real drank the Kool-Aid vibes.
Passionate speech about President Trump's involvement in the insurrection. During it, he said that the former president is still liable for everything he did during his period in office. Are you expecting to face more charges against Mr. Trump in the near future, and do you anticipate being part of that defense?
No, that's just political rhetoric, and I was hopeful that something would come out of this, that the political rhetoric would stop out of Washington, D.C., but I guess apparently it hasn't.
Okay.
Were you, though, surprised to hear those words coming from the leader of the Republican Party in the Senate?
I'm not surprised to hear a politician say anything at all. No.
Well, throughout the trial, you denied that Mr. Trump had a role in inciting the January 6th insurrection at the Capitol.
What a guest, huh? Expansive, articulate, didactic. Okay.
You argued, first of all, that there was no insurrection, but during your closing arguments, you seemingly admitted that there was, in fact, an insurrection, using that word, saying that was not up for debate. What role did the former president play?
You didn't understand the case. I used the word
I'll give you the opportunity to clarify, sir.
Sure. I used the word insurrection in my closing argument when quoting the charging documents. What happened at the Capitol on January 6th is absolutely horrific. But what happened at the Capitol during this trial was not too far away from that.
Wow.
The prosecutors in this case doctored evidence. They did not investigate this case, and when they had to come to the court of the Senate to put their case on, because they hadn't done any investigation, they doctored evidence. It was absolutely shocking, I think, when we discovered it.
It's incredible the casual nature with which they say these things.
And we were able to expose it and put it out. I think it turned a lot of senators.
Didn't turn anyone. Didn't turn anyone. If anything, senators were turned. More Republicans voted guilty than was expected.
American people should not be putting up with this. They need to look at who these House managers were and look to see whether these are the folks they want representing them. It was shocking to me. Wouldn't have believed it.
Let's follow up with a point that you're making right now about the House managers, as you say, doctoring evidence, and the argument.
They didn't deny
for
it.
Our viewers,
they didn't deny it. I put it in front of them 3 times.
To be clear for our viewers, what you're talking about now is a check mark. That's a verification on Twitter that did not exist on that particular tweet. A 2020 that should have actually read 2021. And
these sound like errors more than anything to me.
Selective editing, you say, of the tapes. Is that the doctored evidence of what you're speaking?
Wait, that's not enough for you? That's not enough for you? Wait, no,
sir,
no.
I'm trying.
Listen,
I am not a juror.
What's on the bottom of his hand, by the way? Do you guys see that? What is that on the bottom of his hand? Is that ink? That's strange.
In this trial, what I'm trying to be clear for our viewers is what you're referring to, because not everybody has been following.
It's not okay
not everybody,
to doctor
sir,
a little bit of evidence.
That's not what she said. This guy's very triggered.
Respectfully,
I have not said it is. I have not said it is okay.
Ma'am, your question is
I want to be clear for our viewers.
Listen, what has to happen
is I want to be clear for our viewers about what exactly you're saying when you say doctored evidence.
The media has to start telling the right story in this country.
Listen, this guy knows everything. This guy knows how a Senate should handle an impeachment. This guy knows how the media is supposed to do interviews and report story. This guy should be running every business.
The media is trying to divide this country. You are bloodthirsty for ratings. And as such, you're asking questions now that are already set up with a fact pattern. I can't believe you would ask me a question indicating that it's all right just to doctor a little bit of evidence.
She didn't say that.
There's more stuff that we uncovered that they doctored, to be frank with you. And perhaps that will come out one day. But we won this case, and I'm not a sore loser, but what happened, or a sore winner, I should say, but what should happen is somebody should look at the conduct of these House managers. It's unconscionable.
Impeach them, he says.
Aside from all of the due process violations that my client had, and the media should be looking at a square, straight way. The straight way. When I watch the news, I watch one station and it's raining. I watch another station at the same time and it's sunny. Your coverage is so slanted, it's got to stop. You guys have to stop and start reporting more like PBS does rather than...
I mean, it's interesting he mentions PBS because people whose primary news source is PBS are more informed, and they are far more liberal than they are conservative. So it's interesting to hear him mention PBS.
A TV news show that
he is out of his mind. Yes, that's true.
Doesn't have any journalistic integrity at all. What I'm telling you is that they doctored evidence. And I believe your question says, well, it's only a Twitter check and changing a year of a date here. They switched the date of a Twitter a year to try to connect it to this case. That's not a small thing, ma'am. The other thing they did is they put a check mark on something to make it look like it was a validated account when it wasn't. And when they were caught, they didn't say anything about it. They didn't even try to come up with an excuse about it. And that's not the way our prosecutors or our government officials should be conducting themselves. And the media shouldn't be letting him get away with it either. I'm tired of the biased media on both sides, left and right. What this country wants, what this country needs, is this country to come together, to take the left and the right and find a middle ground. And
see, that's the fallacy of the center, that the right path is in the middle. Often it's just not. It's just not. It's fallacious to begin with.
Start responsibly being our public officials, our elected officials, and one of the reasons why they do it is because of the media, because the media wants to tell their narrative rather than just telling it like it is. And frankly, I'm tired of it. I'm not a media. I'm not in front of your cameras all the time. But what I've been subjected to this last week.
I understand, and I've given you the opportunity.
You don't want to hear the truth. Yeah. Okay.
I've given you the opportunity.
It's like he's been speaking whoa, my chair went down again. Something weird's going on with my chair. It might have to be replaced. I might have to do the entire show down here. He's been speaking uninterrupted for like 3-4 minutes, and he's furious that he's not allowed to speak.
Was that for our viewers who have not been following all of the hours of this trial, to be clear about what you are speaking about? And I understand
I'm speaking
that you
about
seem
the House
very
manager's
upset.
failure to prove their case. That's what I'm telling
And
you. They weren't able to prove their case.
Acquittal. You have won the acquittal of your client.
Yes,
and if you'd
I
like
did.
to continue to talk about this conversation, we can have that discussion.
I don't need to.
But for me to ask a question. But for me to ask a question to clarify for our viewers.
Oh my God. He reminds me a little bit of Brett Kavanaugh, actually.
It's a question that was set up to say it's okay for them to cheat. That was your question. Isn't it okay for them to cheat?
I didn't say that.
It's just a little bit. You said, to be fair, it was only a check on the Twitter. That's what you said. You got to live by your words. That's the problem. The media has to start living by the truth and not try to create a narrative.
Michael Vanderveen.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us. I do appreciate.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ooh, he tosses the mic.
Off your mic.
Yeah, so that guy, he actually does seem, he seems completely out of his mind. Yeah, that's absolutely true. I've been stuck with people like that at dinner parties, and it's bad, really, really bad. Like that personality type becomes very weaponized in a lot of social settings. I want to say thanks to Dean Smith. Dean Smith just signed up at joinpacman.com. Don Fulton signed up at joinpacman.com. Alicia Ramos signed up at joinpacman.com. And Jason Etheridge has signed up as well. Very much appreciate that. Also want to say thanks to the 8 additional Twitch subscribers, putting us at 43. The phone lines will open at 100, and I would absolutely love it. I would just so appreciate it if you signed up at joinpacman.com. I will have coverage of this tomorrow, but Donald Trump in the last half hour put out a statement, I guess, attacking Mitch McConnell. Let's take a look at what he had to say here. Where is the actual letter? Oh, I'll have to find the full thing. Trump on Tuesday unloaded on Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell and vowed to back challengers to lawmakers who have crossed him. Trump's statement was released through his Save America super PAC, blames McConnell for the Republican losses in 2020. Trump should be blaming himself. Mitch is a dour, sullen, and unsmiling political hack. And if Republican senators are going to stay with him, they will not win again. Trump lost the election. Trump lost the White House for himself. And Trump lost the Senate for Republicans, and he's blaming Mitch McConnell. He will never do what needs to be done or what is right for our country. Where necessary and appropriate, I will back primary rivals who espouse making America great again and our policy of America first. We want brilliant, strong, thoughtful, and compassionate leadership. Yeah, it's roughly what we would expect, right? I mean, that's the type, never taking responsibility. It's always someone else's fault. So it's in line with what I would expect. I don't know that I have much to say about it right now. That just released, and we will cover that on tomorrow's show. Okay, before we get to the next things I had planned, let me just get caught up on Super Chats here. Joe's quadcopter videos says, I saw a business hanging a Trump 2024 flag today. David, I emailed you about this guy. He's a personal injury attorney, like Celino and Barnes or Jim the Hammer Shapiro. I'm not familiar with Jim the Hammer Shapiro, but that's funny. He sounds just like Trump, a total fraud and emotional word user while ignoring facts. It's sad this guy is being hailed as a hero for sticking it to the media because he said the word only. This is a tantrum, not an adult. Yes. He was caught taking coasters from the Senate. That's true. How close to 1.3 million subscribers are you? Has the rate of increase changed much since the election? I'm glad you're here for us, David. So the rate of change accelerated after the election in November and December, and then slowed down a little bit. We are only 8,000 subscribers away from 1.3 million. 1.3 million. So that is all very, very good news. Chakaseki says Trump would have had a better defense if he hired Gritty rather than this hoagie-filled bozo. I don't know who Gritty is. Chakaseki often with cultural references that I lack. I thought they made a point with the accusation of falsifying evidence. What I saw, these changes in the evidence were never addressed. What are your thoughts? I'd have to look into it more. Quite frankly, I don't know much about it. Skitoshi Nakayobro says doctored evidence. We all watched it live, bro. Okay. It seems the Republican Party is eating itself. Do you think this will hurt them? I think it will, yeah. Tristan says not just out of his mind, but extreme, passive-aggressive, toxic personality. Bronx Bjorn says just saw Fox News article, Trump Palm Beach bustling, New York City ghost town. I live in New York City. What are they talking about? Yeah, that's a new narrative that they're telling where they are praising Governor Ron DeSantis for just opening everything. That's basically the whole story. Thanks to Ari Milillo. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Thanks, Ari, for signing up at joinpacman.com. Okay, let's keep going. I have many other things planned. This is a funny post from our subreddit. Now, I've talked before about the unsubscribed trolls. These are people who were never actually subscribed, who very dramatically announce that they are unsubscribing from the show. And very often it's just totally fake. But then we also do have people who unsubscribe for what I would consider really kind of toxic reasons. Anyway, I saw a headline on the subreddit, which was I unsubscribed from the channel today. And I thought, oh God, not this again. But it's actually really funny. So I was watching the Senate trial live stream a few minutes ago. Trump's lawyer was rambling with some BS argument. Needless to say, I was tired of it. I decided I wanted something more in depth, something with more commentary, something with more Pac-Man. So I tried clicking on the channel icon to go to his page and find another video. Unfortunately, I accidentally hit the unsubscribe button. I was shocked and urgently resubscribed. David, I'm so sorry I failed you and hope you can forgive me. I promise it was an accident. And I'll never make that mistake again. So I appreciate that. I thought that was going to be another one of these really toxic unsubscribes. One other funny post. This people really came up with some funny stuff on this one. Tortankum posted, I want to call into the show just so that David can ask me if I've been to some obscure restaurant in my home city. Inspired by David asking that woman if she's been to the Vietnamese food stall in a market in Montreal. It was actually a Cambodian food stall. And I find it really offensive that you would mistake Cambodian and Vietnamese food. That's really, really mean. But then people came in with a lot of other funny stuff. I want to call the show so I can pretend to be flustered and surprised that he's asking me what I want to talk about, and then meandering my way through a really oddly and poorly thought out question. I want to call in so I can test the feed delay by having his show run in the background. That's a classic. I want to call the show so I can show off about how many notifications my phone or laptop gets in just 2 minutes. I want to call the show from outside the U.S. to ask David a very specific question about politics in my country, providing no explanation or context to why it's relevant, about which he couldn't possibly have any informed view. Yeah, I love all the callers. You all know that. But I got a funny one a couple of weeks ago where someone called in and asked. It was something about some specific education policy in Switzerland. And I'm sure it's really important. but I don't know about everything that's going on, unfortunately. I want to call in and actually be in a wind tunnel as a power move. I'm going to call from a steel mill in Vienna. So he's irate about the noise, but is too interested in what restaurants I've tried to hang up. I've never been to Vienna, so I wouldn't be able to talk about that. Okay, all right, good. So we got that. Very good. We've got that out of the way. Next thing I have here, I've been asked to review this anti-masker arrest. Now, we've reviewed a bunch of these, and some of them are pretty edgy. Some of them are not. I know that this one is like a 2 weeks old. I've not seen it. Okay, I've not seen it. So I'm up for taking a look at it. But first, let me just say thank you to Kristen Holmes. Kristen Holmes just signed up at joinpacman.com. Appreciate that. Also, big thank you to Super Nintendo, The Strawberry Rodeo, and Nene for signing up via Twitch. That puts us at 48. If people would like the phone lines opened, just sign up at joinpacman.com and we will get them open. All right, let's get into this. Oh, and this is a beautiful super chat. We're reading Ministry for the Future on your recommendation. Thank you. Great choice. Tremendous book by Kim Stanley Robinson. Oh, and someone on Twitch saying they watched the Accidental President documentary last weekend, in which I am featured. That's great. I might have James, the director, producer, creator, on the show soon. All right, let's get into this anti-mask incident. We had an interesting leopard print anti-masker recently who made about 12 wrong allegations about what was taking place. Let's see what happens with this one.
So let me ask you this. Is it a law? What's the federal law that prevents me from wearing a mask?
So first of all, federal law isn't relevant. This mask stuff is being governed at the state level. She also says, what's the law that prevents me from wearing a mask? And of course, there's no federal or state law preventing her from wearing a mask. Did you guys notice that? How she says, what law prevents me? This is about she should be wearing one, but she's not. And she says, what prevents me from wearing a mask? Nobody, nothing.
So let me ask you this. Is it a law? What's the federal law that prevents me from wearing a face mask? Federal law.
Now, who decides that? Oh, I see. This isn't the beginning. Who even decides that? Like, why does she get to decide that the problem is federal law? Let's go now to the beginning. Would it surprise you to know this woman's an attorney? But she does child custody, so she wouldn't know about mask law. That's a joke, by the way.
Store policy. They can ask you to leave.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Is it a law? What's the federal law that prevents me from wearing a face mask? Federal law.
Not federal.
Okay,
state
so
law.
you don't know.
So it sounds like her legal framework is one of federal supremacy. Interesting. I wonder what other legal scholarship she's taken positions on.
State order.
Oh, the laws, right?
State order.
No. The law. The
State laws are laws.
law, because I'm going to get your badge number and I'm going to sue you as well.
Okay.
Okay. So what is the
A
federal
business
law
can ask you to leave for any reason.
that prevents me from...
That now, the officer, I mean, listen, I'm not saying the officer is wrong in what he's saying. The officer is right. It's not even a question of the law. Stores can have policies. It's not quite any reason. There are protected classes. So in all 50 states, you can't say we don't serve black customers here. We don't serve Jewish customers here. We don't serve customers born in a certain country. In some states, you can refuse service based on real or perceived sexual or gender identity. That's bonkers. That's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. But it's so the officer is, I mean, for the purposes of this discussion, the officer is right.
Wearing a face mask.
They don't have to provide you service.
Do they serve the public?
So this is this public accommodation thing that some of the anti-maskers have been talking about, it's legally irrelevant.
Why do I pose any threat medically or physically?
It's not about a threat.
Know that.
Okay, so you don't know that. So I am being
A business can
out
refuse
here
your service.
Because why?
For
Because
any reason they want.
Because I pose what kind of threat?
Doesn't have to be over a threat.
They have a policy here. They're
Is it a
following
federal law?
They're following the
Is
state
it a
mandate.
It's not.
Miss, do you have an idea?
I think I mean, listen, see, the tough thing about these is like different officers will choose to engage at different levels. At some point, it would be a relevant question to say, why do you think that laws have to be federal? Most of the law that we are bound by is state law. Yes, there are federal crimes that most people's interactions with justice systems are state systems, and very few people are challenging. In fact, it's more common people challenge the supremacy of federal law. Most people do the opposite of what she does.
It is a federal
mandate and a law, two different things.
This is private property.
No.
Yes,
Do
it is.
they serve the public?
What do you need, her ID? Yes. Do you have your ID,
No,
please?
no. I'm not giving you my ID.
Okay,
Because
then you gotta come with us. Let's follow us.
No.
Now it's time to go.
We're going to touch you. We're going to touch you.
Don't touch me. No.
Can you imagine?
Relax.
No.
You can keep recording all you want, but we're going to put it in your purse. You want to put cuffs on or not?
Don't touch my phone. Don't touch my phone. I'm relaxed. Come on, let's walk out. Let's walk out. Ooh. No.
Stop.
Now, at this point, she's resisting, right? Like, is there any situation in which a black man resists in this way and isn't down on the ground already? Do any of us disagree about that? Like, this, resisting arrest is this ruse that's used just to take anybody down. This is resisting if I've ever seen it.
Resisting.
Stop resisting. I like that.
You are pulling away from us. That is resisting. You are trying to get free.
And I get it. I don't want her body slammed, to be clear. She's the one dragging these officers around.
That is resisting.
Oh, I can't wait to see your ass. I can't wait to see your ass.
Yeah. I'm sure a lawyer will be really up for this one.
Oh, I can't wait to see your ass.
You don't want to provide ID.
Oh, trust and believe, honey.
Provide your ID.
Oh, no. Because no, because I didn't commit any.
It's not your store. It's their store. They can kick you out for any reason.
Hold on. Do they provide service
That
to the
doesn't matter.
public? Give me my cell phone.
Miss, stop pulling away from us.
No. Give me my cell phone.
Pulling away from us is resisting.
No. Give me my cell phone. Give me
Everything's
my
being recorded.
cell phone. No.
Everything's being recorded.
Give me my cell phone.
Miss, everything's being recorded.
Give me my cell
Please
phone.
put your hands behind your back.
Oh, God. You're more fun, aren't you, Miss?
I want. Just put your hands behind your back.
Oh, it was.
She got a purse. Let go of your purse.
Oh, no. Where's my cell phone?
She does sound drunk. Like I don't know what ended up happening with this case, but it wouldn't be shocking if she got a lawyer who said, listen, she's struggling with alcohol and she was just drunk.
We've got it.
All right. Where's my cell phone?
I have your cell phone.
I want my cell phone.
You'll get it when we're done. Thank you.
Give me my cell phone now. My cell phone now. Oh, I can't wait to sue the fuck out of you.
Who talks to police this way, by the way?
You ain't gonna sue anyone.
Oh, absolutely. I know.
You're the one in the wrong.
Where's my cell
Hold on,
phone? Cell phone.
You can't have this purse on. She's gonna go in.
Where's my cell phone?
I have your cell phone.
I want it now in
You're not
5
getting it.
persons. Oh, absolutely.
Thank you.
Oh, dicks.
No, you're the one being bad.
Illegal search.
You can't have the purse.
Oh my God.
You're gonna go to jail.
Illegal.
I'm not searching your purse. I want your purse.
Illegal search.
Miss.
Illegal search.
You can't have your purse on.
On you in the back.
Yeah, we told you that.
God. Where's my cell phone?
We have it.
I want it now. I want my cell phone.
This is crazy. How is this where we are as a country, where people are doing this?
I want my cell phone now.
I'm putting this in your purse.
People have been maced and tasered for less. There's absolutely no question whatsoever about that.
I want my cell phone now.
She got this thing wrapped around her.
I want my cell phone
You're not
now.
kidding. You can say it all the time you want.
I want my cell phone now.
I'd have to break the purse. I don't want to break the... I'm going to add handcuff you. You going to fight with me?
Dude, you are so in trouble.
I'm not.
You're so in trouble.
I'm not. You are.
Oh, no.
Don't fight with us. I'm going to take your purse.
Oh, I wasn't fighting with at you at all.
This thing. Yeah, the whole place seen it.
Oh, dude. You are so in trouble.
I'm not worried about it.
It's like, what did the cops do that could even be plausibly wrong here? What would you even say the cops did that's wrong?
Oh, hear that?
No. Okay.
I want my cell phone now.
Don't put your... There you go. Thank you.
What are you taking my cell phone for?
I'm going to put it in your purse.
All right, then give me my purse.
No, your purse is sitting up with us. Put your hands behind your back.
All right.
Hand back. Thank you.
God.
There you go.
You guys are in so much trouble.
Watch it. See, look at it. Put your cell phone in.
Yeah, I don't know. You know, there's people who will say when we watch these that these are sort of like psychotic episodes or fugue states. I don't know about that. Like, I think that some of these are personality disorder things. I interviewed a psychiatrist about it, and so with some of these folks, it's like they're sort of like this all the time. It's a personality disorder.
Oh, in trouble.
No, we're not.
Whoa, that's not mine.
Oh, you're right.
I mean, she also seems drunk.
That was mine.
Oh, hell
Yours
no.
is there, see? I had mine in my pocket, too.
I want to see it.
Okay.
I want to see
No
it.
problem. That's it.
You go through my cell phone, you're in.
I like the door closing as she's saying, I guess you're a dead man or something like that.
Want me to get them to write a statement?
Yeah. Oh, man. Okay. All right. So there's that. That is something else. Yeah. Oh, man. It's not good. Let me see what this is. Newsmax talking about Bill Gates wants people on synthetic beef.
John Bachman filling in for Chris Salcedo. It's been a lot of fun. Maybe I'll be back tomorrow. Hopefully not, though. Hopefully the weather will clear up so Chris can get back to work. Join us right back here at 5 o'clock Eastern. We'll break down all the day's biggest news and more. Spicer & Company is headed your way next.
Sean Spicer has a show on Newsmax. Yeah, we'll stay tuned for a little bit of that. That's pretty interesting stuff. Okay, thanks to David Cohen for signing up at joinpacman.com, as well as Jeffrey Moffitt, members 49 and 50 today. They used the coupon code, perfect coupon code, BETTER21. Absolutely love it. Also, thank you to Go Cairo for signing up via Twitch Prime. I appreciate that, putting us at 51. And also thanks to Christopher Bernstein for signing up at joinpacman.com. Appreciate that. Okay, I've got technical difficulties on Fox News clips to go over with you guys. I also want to look at some super chats. Being a Karen is now a psychological disorder. David, Sky reminds me of this from the A-Team. Okay, I'm not going to click on that right now. I just looked. This anti-masks woman name is actually Karen. White people do this, David. Black people know we would be beaten or killed. Yikes. I find it interesting how the cops don't pull a gun on her for resisting arrest. Like mentioned early, David, imagine if she was a black man. Bad faith interviews. Seth Weathers called out by BBC for disinformation and claims the news anchor is triggered. Oh, that sounds... That sounds interesting. Oh, I like this too. When I worked security at a nightclub, the people who were the worst to throw out were arrogant drunk lawyers dropping their JD. Bad flashbacks. Red wine is a hell of a drug. Yes. Yes to all of it. All right, let's see what's up with this.
Acquittal, but was it really an exoneration?
Clearly, I mean, the reality was it wasn't even a real impeachment, which is why the head of the Supreme Court refused to sit over the trial.
No, that's not. No,
that's not true. That's definitely not true.
Over the trial because he only presides when a sitting president is there. That is not. That is a.
This guy, you can already tell this guy is not going to like being fact checked.
Very separate issue from whether impeachment goes ahead or not. You know that the Senate voted 56 to 44 to let the trial continue. You can carry on, but when you make a statement like that, I jump in. Seth, all yours.
I love for you to jump in. The reality is the Constitution makes it very clear that you cannot impeach someone who's not a sitting president.
No, that is totally untrue.
Come on, Seth.
You can
we're not going to keep talking about this. No, because you can talk.
You just get to talk over me.
Well, I get to correct when you make either a misstatement or
he's the host,
or a statement.
This guy is getting a lesson in how TV works.
It needs clarification. Right. That's how it works when you come onto the BBC. I ask a question, you answer it. If you make a misstatement, I jump in anytime I want. So Seth, can we carry on and not...
Yes, the host is the decider. This is such a funny thing. Yeah, the host has control.
Keep talking about the unconstitutionality of it. Can we talk about what Donald Trump will do now? Seth, can you talk about what Donald Trump will do now?
Do you want to discuss what happened, or do you want to talk over me when I make statements? So you're the decider of what is fact. You're the constitutional scholar of the Constitution of the United States of America. You know all, and
this is a dig at the guy being British, by the way.
You get to correct me and shut me up on air if I say something you disagree with.
Okay.
The reality is you cannot impeach someone that's not a sitting president.
That's obviously untrue.
The Constitution makes that clear, which is why they say the purpose is to remove a president from office.
And potentially to bar them from holding office in the future, which they never mention whenever they're pressed on this issue.
That's all the point I'm trying to make. Okay. I don't know why that sets you off.
I get that. And I think you also know, and just let me speak, you also know that the Senate voted the other way to let that trial continue. Now, we know you disagree with that, but they did vote. Let's just talk about today, okay? 57 to 43. That included 7 Republican senators. Does it sting to have them vote against former President Trump?
No, it doesn't sting at all. I mean, the kind of people that voted against him are little weasels like Ben Sasse and others, Mitt Romney, et cetera. These are people that if they were to have an election anytime soon in their state, specifically someone like Ben Sasse.
He realized Mitt Romney would easily be reelected in Utah, so he had to hedge a little bit and say, especially Ben Sasse.
They're very likely going to lose that reelection. And these are people that have just they've had it out for Donald Trump from before he became president, from the time he first ran. They've hated him. They're established.
Romney didn't have it out for Trump. Romney met with Trump and was willing to be his Secretary of State. Then Trump picked someone else and Romney was like, I guess he doesn't want me. That's so not true.
Hacks. Like the Republican Party, the people on the base, we don't like these people. DC likes them. The media likes them. That's pretty much it. And so, again, these are people that are not going to be in sound situations when it comes to reelection.
I think Mitt Romney's going to do fine, guys.
And again, everything about this was a farce. There is no legitimacy to it.
Okay,
it's a joke.
You said all that.
Both sides of the aisle are clowns in the Senate.
I did hear you. You did say that. Let me move on. Donald Trump talked about moving on with Make America Great Again. Does he want to get back into active politics?
I think he's going to be very active when it comes to 2022 and supporting people that were opposed to him, whether it be in this impeachment or other areas, and that specifically speaking as to Republicans. And so I do think he'll be involved. I don't personally really believe he's going to run in 2024. I think he would rather, in essence, use the fear of him potentially running for other Republicans to kind of keep that position open and then eventually be able to be a kingmaker on whoever that individual ultimately is. And I do think he will have a kingmaker role in that.
Seth, we did get there in the end, and it was interesting.
Well, hopefully next time we can have a more back and forth.
All right, we'll try it again next time.
All right, so I mean, this guy's annoying, but sort of not super remarkable, but definitely interesting. Okay, let me just listen a little bit to what Sean Spicer's program is on Newsmax, but then I do have clips I wanted to go over with you guys. Hold on.
When you need them, walls, cops, everything else, then they're great. When you don't need them, they're bad, and they should all be taken away. But it's funny because remember when President Trump wanted to use the Guard and use those troops to secure the city and other federal sites, it was abhorrent. That was horrible until they wanted to do it.
Absolutely, and it shows really the two different standards. I mean, the White House was under siege. The president had to go into protection within the White House. It almost fell. They called out the National Guard, and the mayor and even the leadership of the Democrats.
It's funny because they've never admitted that the White House perimeter almost fell when Trump went into the bunker. Trump said he was in the bunker to examine the bunker, inspect it or something, and that everything was fine. Now this guy's saying, no, it was very close to security falling.
The Guard. It's unbelievable the way that they will point fingers of blame and at the same time criticize those who exercise authority.
Yeah. You know, we saw 26,000 National Guard troops come into the Capitol for inauguration. And as Sean mentioned, there's over 5,000 of those troops still here. Are you on board with that? Because there's reports that they might be here into the fall.
Well, I think this is absolutely just imagery that Nancy Pelosi wants. You know, we're a democracy. We're not afraid of our electorate. The Democrats right now are running a narrative of fear. They're
So this
afraid
is
of the American public.
this is really
They're afraid of people who support Donald Trump. And now, as you know,
okay, this is all quite dumb in the sense that this is just Newsmax continuing to just cover stories that are really not the important stories. What has been going on with Republican obstruction when it comes to coronavirus? 40% of deaths under Trump's watch were preventable. There's a dozen stories that are more important stories. The National Guard troop story. Okay, I mean, yeah, maybe it's a story and they're starting to slowly reduce the number of troops and they wanted to have troops there through impeachment because it was unclear whether there were going to be more attempts at insurrectious activity. Like, yeah, I mean, but we want to get the troops out eventually. But the idea that this is like the story, they've been pushing this for a while. All right, let me get to some. You guys know that I love technical errors on right-wing media. And yesterday, everybody was losing their connection on Tucker Carlson's program. And the explanations from Tucker were all pretty wild. Let's take a listen to this first one with Rick Perry here.
So I love Texas, don't want to attack Texas. On the other hand, the most basic responsibility of government, you'd think, is to keep the power on, especially when people need it to survive. They didn't. Why? I should say that Rick Perry is in Texas.
Right.
It sounded like he was in space, but he's not. He's in Texas. He has no power. That's being run, I think, on a generator.
Right.
He's proving the point that we're making. Governor, we're going to put you on hold for a second. To see
Okay, so it must be the Texas power situation, right? No, because then they go to Ron DeSantis, who's in Florida, and the exact same things happen.
No one ever says that out loud. I mean, how could you ignore something that the data show? Oh, I'm afraid we've lost Governor DeSantis. Can you hear me, Governor?
I can't hear.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. I can hear the governor. He cannot hear me. I just want to say for the record that unlike as in Texas tonight, I think the power is still on in Florida. Fewer windmills in the state than there are in Texas. So that's the good news. But for some reason, the governor couldn't hear us.
You know what this reminded me of? I don't know why I love that. This reminded me of some of my absolute favorite clips of one of Trump's last rallies before the election, where there was constant there were actually two clips. There was constant feedback. You guys know I love these clips. Any opportunity to play these is a great opportunity that I take. Let's take a listen.
Both of you states, the Biden. These guys, yeah, that's right. You can't. Maybe, now it's probably a rhino is operating.
And then this is probably my favorite technical difficulties clip from any Trump rally that I can remember. There was one where he talked about the teleprompter waving up and down, but this one's pretty high up there.
And incredible, oh, these people don't know what the hell they're doing. Let me recover my ears for 1 second.
That is that is the best. I don't know why I love that.
And incredible, oh, these people don't know what the hell they're doing. Let me recover my ears for 1 second.
And then he says, don't pay them, right?
Whoever did this microphone, don't pay them.
There it is.
You know, I have a reputation for not paying, and it's a false reputation. When somebody does a lousy job...
It's false. Okay. All right, so there is that. What on earth Help Forgotten Jews is an advertiser? What is this?
It's okay to have faith.
For just $25, you can help supply the essential foods they desperately need for 1 month.
For over 35
Oh my God, it's Huckabee.
This trusted minister.
You know what this is, guys? There's this crazy. A lot of people don't understand, like, how are right wingers both anti-Semitic but they love Israel? And see how it says International Fellowship of Christians and Jews? Evangelical Christians like Mike Huckabee, they have these religious beliefs, and excuse me that I don't know exactly what the scripture is. It's something about if they support Israel, it'll bring Jesus back. Like, that's the super simplified version of it. So they get involved in all of this support of Israel that's like not real. It's not actually about Jews and Judaism, and it's crazy. But that was bizarre. That was absolutely bizarre what we just saw. Mike Huckabee involved. Mike Huckabee. Really, really wild stuff. Okay. I see the super chats. Let me just make sure I've thanked everybody. Carlos Cruz Jr. is a new member, and Joseph Luther has also made a pledge via Patreon. We're going to count everything because we need it. Also, thanks to Oliver Jott, Bean Product, and one other person for signing up via Twitch, putting us at 57 people asking about the phones. I will open phones. If we get to 100, otherwise, I think on tomorrow's stream, we've got something pretty interesting cooked up for tomorrow. I think we'll get there. We'll get there tomorrow. Okay. All right. Let me see what people are saying. I know the super chats are coming in. Good to see you laugh, David. Support real media. Thank you. Please play the Newsmax Bernie Sanders Infinity Loop error. Oh, I don't know what that is. Let me see. Newsmax Bernie Infinity Loop. Newsmax Bernie glitch. I can't find it. I didn't think it was Bernie. Newsmax technical difficulties. Is it this one?
Minority Leader McCarthy was there. Chairman Brady. That's several of us. And to hear the heart-wrenching stories of these pipeline companies that have to tell thousands of their employees they're now laid off because of executive orders by this new president. It is unbelievable what we're seeing. And the quote by Bernie Sanders.
Those cicadas are really, really, really aggressive. Okay, people saying Newsmax Bernie. Let me see. Newsmax Bernie. Oh, that is the one. It was that he mentioned Bernie. Yeah, all right. Newsmax feed goes haywire after guest mentions Bernie. That's genius. Obviously it's just a coincidence, but that's pretty damn funny. That's really funny. I like that one. Okay, back to super chats. Giuliani no longer representing Trump in any legal matters. That's not surprising. It was just a matter of time. This guy reminds me of the Onion article, area man, passionate defender of what he imagines the Constitution to be. Yes. Otherwise, just what a 4-tier system we have for law enforcement. It's about the color of your skin and how much you have in your bank account. Right. I mean, I think if you are poor and not white, you get the worst treatment. If you're not white but wealthy, you get significantly better treatment, but not always. Remember what happened with that Harvard professor? The police were called because it looked like he was breaking into an expensive house. It was his house. Yeah, I agree with that. It's sort of like a 4-quadrant. Do you or don't you have money? Is your skin white or is it not white? All right, very good. So good. We are caught up there as far as that goes. And, I'm being told there's interesting things in the Rudy is no longer representing Trump story. Let me find that. Where is that article? Giuliani no longer representing Trump. Okay, good. Let's take a look at this. Let's see what's being reported. This is the first I'm hearing of it. I probably will talk about it tomorrow. Giuliani no longer representing Trump in any legal matters. Former President Trump's personal attorney, Rudy Giuliani, is not currently representing President Trump in any legal matters, senior Trump advisor Jason Miller told CNN on Tuesday. Oh, let's just see if we can find the video then, because that's probably Jason Miller, CNN, Rudy Trump. Nothing there yet. Maybe this clip will tell us what we want. Let's see if we can unmute.
It is also his record, the facts, 1 and 40 of the nearly 40 lawsuits brought by the president and Republicans to try to challenge the results of this election. They have only one win. Nothing so far altering the vote tally. As for President Trump, again, no public events on his schedule today. The only thing he's done publicly, of course, just tweeted moments ago saying that he is recommending to the GSA to begin this.
Clearly this is old. I don't even know what this video is. It clearly has nothing to do with the story, even though this was just published. Trump's banned from Twitter, and none of this makes any sense. All right. Miller said in a tweet, here we go. Donald Trump's longtime personal attorney, Rudy Giuliani, is no longer working for the former president, according to Jason Miller. In a statement, Miller writes, Mayor Giuliani is not currently representing President Trump in any legal matters. Jason Miller clarifies simply that there are no pending cases where Mayor Giuliani is representing the president. The mayor remains an ally and a friend. Okay. I mean, doesn't seem like necessarily the biggest news there. What are my thoughts on the Fetterman Senate run? I like it. I think he's an interesting guy, and I'm very, very interested in it. All right, let's see what's happening now on Newsmax.
Now that did it. So everybody in his administration was told, go out, make change, get things done. Everybody who worked for Donald Trump was given that mandate. Rick Grinnell did it. That's different. There were 5,000 people that were appointed by this president. There were very few, and you among them, that actually got things done and can stand up and say, check, check, check. That makes you very different.
Well, thank you again for that. But let me just say that I think that anyone who's appointed in any position needs to ignore the media, ignore what the criticism is, and stick to the vision. And so I think I just have the ability to ignore the criticism from the media. It kind of charges me up sometimes, actually. Maybe it's because I'm a cancer survivor and I can kind of get up every day and say, I got one more day. Let's make it the best that we can make it today. But just to answer your question, I don't want to be cute about the governor's race because I think it's incredibly important. I'm really focused on these long-term fixes. I think it's really important that—
What a disaster. I mean, they avoided a major technical problem at least, but an absolute and total disaster. Here's what's coming up from the standpoint of streams. Thursday, noon East, 9 a.m. West. The GameStop Robinhood congressional hearings. I am going to be live with them because I think it's going to be absolutely fascinating. The CEO of Robinhood is going to be testifying. I think it's going to be really, really interesting. So that's going to be on Thursday at noon. We'll probably start a little bit before that. I believe Katie Porter is not going to be part of the questioning, but AOC is. Maybe chat can correct me on that, but that is that's going to be interesting to watch. That'll be on Thursday. And then tomorrow we have a couple of things planned, but I don't want to say too much yet just because it may not happen. All right. So that's going to do it for me for today. We are going to be back very, very strongly tomorrow. Make sure to subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. Make sure to follow if you're watching on Twitch. We did surpass 79,000 Twitch followers. We are very, very close to 80. I think we're going to get there very soon with your help. And I'll see everybody tomorrow.